Good morning and good afternoon. So you've decided you want to work in recruitment. Welcome to this video where hopefully this no longer than 5 minutes. I'll give you a kind of quick summary of what we do in recruitment and within the sector, and hopefully kind of gives you an insight. So what is a recruitment consultant? Essentially, we are the intermediary between an organisation wishing to hire a client and the individual seeking a career move, the candidate. This can both be on a temporary and a permanent basis. Consultancies or agencies, as we're referred to, can come in all shapes and sizes, small and large, and many consultancies will be industry specific. So by that I mean they will specialize on a particular sector. So you have some agencies that are focused on IT, some agencies that are focused on health and safety care, some agencies that are focused on construction. Essentially your agency will be focused on, this is your employer, will be focused on a particular sector, and you will have a desk and a focus area. Essentially you have a business within a business. So your desk will be what you recruit for, and that would be your business to kind of manage, both looking at candidates and clients if you're looking at a 360 role. In terms of what are the key responsibilities of a recruitment consultant, I've listed a few here. We'll identify and develop client business relationships, candidate attraction. So, it's your job to kind of grow your candidate network. So that could be very much, whether that's going to be adverts or other tools you may have at your disposal. Advertising vacancies, headhunt. So this is when you actually actively go out and approach people for a specific role. That could be via LinkedIn or obtaining somebody's phone number and giving them a call to say, hello, here, sir or madam, I've got this vacancy and I want to specifically speak to you about this role. Sourcing candidates, negotiation contracts, as well as managing the whole recruitment process. So by that will be from the initial stages of taking a vacancy to advertising, finding a candidate, presenting that candidate to the client after they've been qualified, getting feedback, hopefully being in a position to set up interviews and set up then offers and negotiation of contracts and sometimes counter offers. With regards to the remuneration in the recruitment sector, that will very much be dependent on your location and sector you specialize in, but most companies will offer a fixed basic salary and a highly structured performance related monthly or quarterly commission. The incentive-based remuneration means that if you're good at your job and what you do, you're more likely to earn more money in terms of your take home at the end of the year. So essentially it's the work you put in is the work you get out in terms of recruitment, and essentially how you're paid. If you can produce high fees and consistent fees for your business, then essentially you're going to take more. In terms of fees, how they're generated, so for example, if you manage to find a candidate for a client and your agency works, say for example at 10%, and the candidate salary is £50,000, your introduction fee that you would charge your client would be £5,000. That would be the fee that you have generated for your client. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And essentially that is how you'd be targeted in terms of what fees you can generate for your particular business. Skills and qualification. There's no degree that is needed for to be a successful recruitment consultant. I've worked with many good consultants who haven't had a degree. I've worked with many consultants who've had a degree, like myself. But essentially you want to be driven, confident and resilient. You're going to have a lot of no's, speaking to candidates and speaking to clients. Believe it or not, there are many recruitment companies out there and many companies that don't want to take your call. So you're going to have to be someone who's very resilient and self-motivated to pick up the phone again and again to break through into clients. And, the calls you make in your first week are very different to your fourth week, they're very different to your sixth week, very different to 6 months in. As you kind of progress through your time for recruitment, your confidence and your skill level will increase. Other skills I would say, in my opinion, that I think are good to be in recruitment, good communication skills. You're speaking to people on the phone, by email, etc. You need to be able to communicate your candidate effectively to your client, as well as being able to communicate your client's requirements to a candidate effectively. Nothing can be lost in translation in the job we do. Recruitment is the only job where the product which we're selling, which is candidates, have a mind and voice of their own. Ability to build strong relationships. The better relationships you have, the better you will be in the long run. Likewise with clients, if you have a good relationship with your client, they're likely to use you again. Likewise with a candidate, if a good relationship with a candidate, they're going to come to you again. Even if you do not help he or she to find a job, if you have a good relationship with that candidate, that's somebody that may turn into a client. So relationships are very key in the job that we do. As I said, you need to be confident. You're going to be meeting new people all the time and speaking to people on the phone. It's not a job if you're shy to speak on the phone, etc. It's probably not the job for yourself. Good negotiation skills. That's going to come in very handy when perhaps you're dealing with a candidate that wants more than the client is offering. So your job to be the intermediary between both parties to help negotiate the deal. As well as the ability to work part of a team. Most successful recruitment consultants I know always work well in a team. So that is very much important. And again, the ability to sell. But by sell, I don't mean, the kind of old-fashioned kind of car salesman. It's about being persuasive and being able to develop relationships and empathy. Put yourself in the candidate's shoes. As always, I'd say, for every decision you make, put your candidate and your client in mind. So if it's not good for your candidate, it's not good for yourself. If it's not good for your client, it's not good for yourself. At EWI, we have a phrase here called good pound, bad pound. There's no point, persuading a candidate who is not right for a job to take a job, because they're going to be very likely to fall out and drop out, which means your client's not going to be happy with yourself. Sometimes you have to be honest. I've had situations in the past where I've said to clients, do you know what, that candidate is not the best for you. And one would say that I'm, talking myself out of a fee, but in the long run, I know that candidate is not going to be right for the client. And when that candidate leaves in 1 month or 2 months, that client's going to be very annoyed for me, because they've gone through a 3-month recruitment process, they've paid me a fee, and now this person hasn't worked out. So as I like to say, it's not about being a car salesman and just trying to sell something. It's very much about building a relationship, good pound, bad pound. The deals you're making, is it good for the candidate? Is it good for the client? With regards to your working environment, you're expected to work in normal standard office hours, which are 8 to 5. But there's often times where you'll start early and you'll finish late. It's just the nature of the work we do, and it will tend to be a sales environment where people are on the phone, people are walking around, people are busy, it's noisy, etc. So yeah, if you're someone who wants to work perhaps in a quiet office by yourself, recruitment is probably not the environment for you, I would say, in all honesty. In terms of career progression, the nature of the industry means that if you're good, you're likely to progress in terms of what you do at fast pace. Consistently hitting and exceeding targets will undoubtedly result in promotions. Yeah, the good thing about recruitment, when I started recruitment, there was a phrase that was always said to me, which was, there's no dead man's shoes. And by that, you're not waiting for somebody to leave before you then get a promotion. It's very much, if you hit the targets you need to do, you will promote. We've had people who've been promoted from trainee to senior in the space of 18 months. Why? Because they've hit their targets every single time. Some people it takes longer, but essentially it's a job where the work you put in is the work you get out. And very much fast career progression in recruitment. Usually, typically, from a trainee consultant, you would go to full recruitment consultant, if you call it that, to a senior, then to a principal. Then you could go down the team management route to be team manager, where you take people on board and kind of do on-desk coaching to build a team. Team manager, sector manager, divisional manager, director, which tends to be the path for most recruitment companies. And of course, as you do kind of progress up the career ladder, you're more likely to have a higher basic, because your basic will go up. And then sometimes when you get into kind of team management, you will then earn an override, I should say, on your team. So if your team bill more, you're going to get more. that could also work in the way of monthly or quarterly bonuses, depending on what your team in terms of hitting targets. So essentially, final thoughts. Recruitment is very much not for the faint-hearted. It's a competitive world where those who do well are rewarded, and those that don't last very long, to be honest with yourself. Recruitment consultants need to be compelling and persuasive in order to secure continued business from their clients, and also to generate their candidate networks. For those who like a sales environment, competitive, recruitment is going to be a very good fit for yourself. It very much offers a fast-paced working environment where rewards and successes with good commission for those who hit targets. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what we do in recruitment, and if you want any more information, do not hesitate to contact me via LinkedIn. Again, my name is Deji Ogunsola. All the links will be in the comments as well. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Take care.